Hi, once again. I want y'all to know something. I'm being very sincere about this. I believe that atheism is an abomination of critical thinking. This is video number 10 in my series. God is our only hope. Being a rational person, I find it impossible to believe random mindless atoms self-constructed into human beings and an entire universe. Nevertheless, atheism bizarrely supports that same randomness being our creator. Their delusions don't end there. With no empirical evidence, they have promoted the loony idea that a finely tuned universe randomly sprung from a massive explosion in space. Named the Big Bang Theory by science, it succeeded in grabbing our mainstream consciousness, and it's what's been taught in schools as creation gospel for around 60 years, despite no objective evidentiary justification for doing so. I want to clarify why I'm focused on creation at this point. My contention is and has been that the biblical God that I know is the creator of the universe, while science has promoted the Big Bang creation theory as the alternate to that God. They propose that a causeless, arbitrary gargantuan explosion occurred, blowing a massive structure apart of unknown origin, makeup, and dimension. The blast's propelling remnants then supposedly somehow formed our fully functioning universe and magically laid the groundwork for all ecosystems and organic life forms. It's implausible to me how we ever legitimize such obvious nonsense, but generated from that preposterous theoretical curiosity was a personal epiphany. Atheists are the consummate propagandists. Now, some will say that's Hitler, but I'm telling you it's the atheists, because they're still there. They fooled millions with total foolishness. They proposed a scientific fantasy theory out of pure unsubstantiated malarkey and shoved it down the throat of our innocent students. The theory was found to be so flawed, in fact, that since its inception, every nuance of its core essence has been disproven and judged to be a preposterous, unsupportable, logical abomination, according to science's own eventual conclusions. Otherwise, they wouldn't have scraped it in favor of a new flavor, as in flavor of the month. The latest scientific irrefutable fact is creation having instantaneously occurred at a point of singularity. What was posed as the seminal 60-year-old godless creation model completely unraveled after it was ironically revealed that the exploding matter the theory was based on never actually existed. That's hysterical to me. It would be really hysterical if it had been forced onto the school curriculum for the last 6 decades or so. The point of singularity expansion theory is the current consensus of the International Brotherhood of Theoretical Physicists. It was, I'm being facetious, by the way. It also was that same group that originally introduced the Big Bang fiasco in the first place. Fundamentally, I'm stating that though it was called a theory, it has always been treated as a fact. They provided no other scientific possibilities and censored God. That's the power of atheism. In essence, the pseudoscience blasphemy preached to our children has been ultimately exposed as no more than an empirically vacuous fairy tale. How on earth could they be so wrong by their own criteria? Even, as empirical evidence, stuff like that. Even I had ignorantly assumed they must have proved, but unfortunately discovered that they never actually did. My suspicion is that its validity was secondary to the atheist mission of culturally removing God as creator. To a great extent, their diabolical efforts have succeeded. The original anti-God creation Big Bang theory, touted as fact and described in detail and illustrated in our school textbooks for decades, is and has been proven to be an atrocity of reason and an empirical abomination from the start. But it unfortunately opened the door to mainstream spiritual anarchy before that was realized. I remind you that my contention introduced in the first video has been that atheism is responsible for our current descent into racial disharmony, hedonism, and self-indulgence. If generations, according to atheism, are the fortuitous or accidental creation of a Big Bang blast rubble, of the Big Bang blast rubble, then who are the generations indoctrinated into this deranged folklore morally beholden to? Ultimately, our society has been immersed for decades in evolution and Big Bang theories, as well as God-censored teaching instruction. Is the social anarchy witnessed on the news a real surprise? Does any of what we have been seeing since early summer 2020 reflect the love, compassion, and forgiveness of God that God provides the capacity for, and Jesus preached? Or rather, have we been witness to the vindictive, hateful responses of uncivilized, heathen mobs? Scientists and their atheist sympathizers can dismiss a biblical God if they wish as creator and chief engineer of the earth's life-sustaining, interdependent ecosystems. That's the craziest thing of all. That was an accident too? But then we are left with our many essential life-supporting systems guideless and uncontrolled as well. So it's not just the life that was created. It was all the systems that perpetuate them. And those are such as our exquisitely precise celestial, electromagnetic, nuclear, atmospheric, energy, gravitational, quantum, and biochemical supporting forces and systems harmoniously engaging in a dynamic capable of producing and then sustaining organic life on our particular planet. In the following example, for instance, think how lucky it was for plant-eating organisms that biochemical systems were in place. No one or no entity designed, planned, or created, enabling the extraordinarily complex act of photosynthesis to take place. By happenstance alone, matter formed into organic life capable of synthesizing the soil, the atmosphere, and the sun's energy into a self-sustaining nourishment source in order that we could eat broccoli and hay-eating cows. And I'm not being facetious here. If it all happened absent a designing entity, then it was by default arbitrary, as no God means no plan, direction, or survival instinct. How could there inherently exist a creational survival instinct capable of producing nutrient sources in matter particles which are yet to even be transitioned into complex organic forms? What I mean is, from where did the ability to photosynthesize arise from before the first plant existed? What reasoned photosynthesis into existence along with the countless other life-sustaining organic systems? If not God, then what or whom? Space aliens? Mindless atoms? Invisible quantum particles? Other universes? Blind luck? On to video 11.